විශිෂ්ට සාමාර්ථ උදෙසාම වෙහෙසෙන සිසුන් සඳහා පදනම ප්‍රකාශන.
I am Melanie Gunathilaka, an independent activist. So I'm going to start this with a small confession. When IUSF was protesting against CITEM and when they were asking for right to education, I was somebody who was walking on the road, worried about traffic. I was very comfortable living in my bubble. I didn't have experience on my rights being denied. I didn't have to experience injustice up until I joined the Argale. But during the last year, since April last year, I have experienced how the system and the tools that is used by the system is curtail the voices of the people and stops people from speaking out and stops the real people's voices getting out and their demands being heard. So when we had to, when Vasantha was taken in and was detained under PTA, that was the first time I started learning more about how this Prevention of Terrorism Act has been used on people from all ethnicities, Sinhalese, Tamils, Muslims, and anybody that has tried to question the government, the question authority, question the system. So up until then, I didn't know that. Up until then, I thought when somebody was detained under PTA, that is something that has been done after the case has been heard in the courts. But when I learned through Vasantha's case that he was detained without a judiciary or a court hasn't heard his case, an evidence against him hasn't been presented and hasn't been argued, that's when I realized what an injustice that I've been blind to all this time. So I think it is important that we continue this fight as Sri Lankans until we win justice for all of Sri Lankans, until Prevention of Terrorism Act is repealed, not replaced, until we know that all of Sri Lankans are allowed to and is capable of living a dignified life as Sri Lankans. During the Aragale, we learned that all of these divisions that they have created, be it the race, be it the religion, be it the class, that what they did was keeping us divided. So we would never come together in unity to stand against the true oppressor, who is the ruling class. But now, I think we have all learned through experience. I have personally learned. I have been oppressed. My rights have been violated. I have been imprisoned. So I have been in remand custody for participating in protests. So now I have experience. But I'm also sad and I am ashamed that I had to go through own personal experience to learn this. And it doesn't have to be this way. We all don't have to wait until we all lose our rights to understand the pain of someone else or understand the suffering of someone else. Before we all lose our rights, we can stand together, we can stand in unity and stand against oppression. And when I say oppression, it doesn't only limit to somebody being put in jail, somebody being put inside prison. It goes beyond. Even whether it is you being intimidated by the state, whether your family getting calls from different people claiming to be officers from the government, or whether your parents are being scared and they're being told that don't let your child go for protests. And this is all parts of oppression. And all of the time and energy that we have to use and waste going through some of the procedures stops us from taking real action, stops us from doing what is need to do to develop our country, to make Sri Lanka a better place where we can all live, where we can all have our basic needs being met, where we can all live as dignified human beings. So I need to highlight that what we saw throughout the Aragala since last April was the power of the people. And when people come together, we can defeat the oppressor, we can defeat the oppressive laws. That is what Vasantha's case proved. That is what we understood when Vasantha was that is what we understood yesterday when Vasantha was given bail, and finally being able to see him walking out. So at the same time, I want to highlight that all of this time we limited the role of the citizens as only for casting our votes. But a role of the citizen can go beyond. Not only that we have the responsibility as citizens to stand up stand up against injustice, we also have the freedom to use our constitutionally given right to show peaceful dissent, to speak up, not only for ourselves but also for others. So it is important that we recognize our power and also learn how to use this power to speak up and stand up against the oppressive government, and also to win our rights, not only for ourselves but also for all of Sri Lankans. Because justice denied to some is justice denied to all. Until all of us are free, none of us are free. Aragalata Jaiva.